What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am bringing you my first place hero profile. So this deck took on Time Thieves, Sword Souls, Dinos and Despias to go XO at our charity event and win the entire thing. The deck is crazy good right now. It's received a lot of new support, not even including Destroyer Phoenix. Like, Denier is crazy good. At the end of the video, I'll also show you a combo, and if you want to see test hands of this deck, make sure you smash that like button and get the video to at least 50 likes, and I'll bring that for you. With all of that out of the way, I'm going to take you through the main, the extra, and the side deck as well, and explain some of my choices and changes on top of that. So, diving head first, we start off with triple elemental hero Stratos. Now, watching one of Bortle's videos, this actually became a questionable card, and what I mean by that is I was finding myself actually siding myself down to one of this, which is really, really weird, but it worked out amazingly well for me. And the reason I say that is because Fusion Destiny is just a one-card combo that gets you a skill drain plus a Destroyer Phoenix, but then if you don't even need to worry about Stratos and you search it off whenever you need to, you've got plays to still make, because you've got ways of getting it through Cross Crusader, you've got ways of getting it through Shadow Mist. Like, it's so consistent to get to this that when you do normal summon it, get your Faris, you've got more plays to make. Like, it's just absolutely crazy what this deck can do. And arguably, when I was siding, because the deck is actually really tight as it is, I was finding myself siding this down to 1, which was a very easy decision and worked out really well for me. I've got double Shadow Mist. Again, this is a card that I kind of like having at 1, and I say that purely for the fact of how fast the game is right now. That, alright, if you go into a grind game, you want 2, and it's obviously where you want 2 Stratos. But the way the game is going is the majority of the times, or specifically around my locals, the majority of the games are, right, okay, I've built my board, can you break it? No, okay, I guess I win. Or, you've broke my board, I guess you win. So there was a lot to kind of play around with. So again, throughout siding, I was cutting Shadow Mist down to 1 and never really saw an issue. There's only one card that I cut down to 1 during a side, and it came back to bite me in the arse, and I'll explain that when I get there. The other 2 elemental heroes is the one Liquid Soldier and the one Neos. Liquid Soldier is situational. It's still very, very good, and you still need to play it at least 1 if you have access to it, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. And then Honest Neos, if they don't know you have this, it's a game winner. If you do have it and you're going second, it's another game winner. Like, it's so good. Droll does shut this deck down pretty hard, but the best thing about this is you've got so many consistent ways of getting into Honest Neos, it's mad. You've got so many ways of getting into your Faris, getting into your Vion, it's just, there's so much to do, so much consistency, it's so good. Then for the Vision Heroes, we've got triple Faris alongside double Vion and double Increase. So Increase was the only card that during a side deck chance I took it down to 1. And I knew that I would do it, because I was like, every single time I cut this card down to 1 through the side deck, I always open it. Every single time. So 2 is a brick. It absolutely sucks. It is the garnet of the deck. You don't want it in your hand. You want to be summoning it or attaching it from deck with Faris. So there was a lot of times where I was like, right, okay, this is really annoying. But at 2, again, it's one of the ones where it's like, if you draw 1, you've still got 1 in the deck, but you could draw both and you're double screwed. So it's a very tough one to do, but just through my personal experience and playing the deck, every time I have it at 2, I always see, like, I might see 1, I might see not. Every time I have it at 1, I can 99% guarantee you it will be in my opening hand. Vion is busted broken right now. Send in Mali that you can loop, send in a Denier, so even if you don't open up your Fusion Destiny, you've still got so many ways to get into it. Not to mention Faris can also ditch those cards from the hand, search out a Poly, and believe it or not, the amount of times you actually hard summon a Phoenix Enforcer using Poly and 2 Destiny Heroes is more than you know. It's crazy. Because if you don't open up Fusion Destiny, all you need to do is get Mali and Denier to the graveyard, and then straight away you're getting yourself 2 Destiny Heroes back. Like, Denier is insane good. Like, absolutely insane. Like, I didn't realise, like, when I first read it, I was kind of, this is cool, it's a really cool card. But in actual practice, it's mad. Speaking of which, for the Destiny Heroes, we play double Mali, 1 Plasma, and the 1 Denier. So, what more can I say? Denier lets you play 3 Mali in the deck. It's absolutely crazy. Plasma is easily searchable, and like I said, a 1-card combo off the back of Fusion Destiny, send in Mali, send in Denier, gives you the ability of searching out Plasma and then summoning Plasma, which I'll show you at the end, that's the base minimum you need from 1 Fusion Destiny is crazy. Denier has this effect that if it is normal or special, you can take one of your Destiny hero monsters from your deck, graveyard, or that is banished and place it onto the top of the deck. So the idea is that you've got Mali in the graveyard, you're going to banish it, summon out a Mali, link these two together, or bring back the Denier, put that Mali back to the top of the deck, link into the link 2, and then you get to special banish this Mali to special this one from the deck. Like, it's just crazy. Like, you get to loop your Mali, and any deck that lets you loop a Mali is crazy. And then we play the one evil hero of a Dusted Gold, now a lot more easily accessible thanks to the Brothers of Legend reprint. Then for the consistency search cards, you've got triple E call to add any elemental hero from your deck to the hand. I'm also going to put our one-off copy of Reinforcement of the Army because these pretty much search you everything you need. So these count as a 6th copy of Stratos, a 5th copy of Shadow Mist, not that you very rarely need to do that. These also count as 4 copies of Liquid Soldier and 4 copies of Honest Neos. You might not need to rely on this as heavily because, like I said, you don't really need your elemental heroes in the hand. Like, you search them out quickly and easily earlier on in the game, but it's still so good because if you get your Shadow Mist, you've got free discard fodder off of Faris. If you get your Stratos, you've got your starter as well. And then Rota can pretty much get you anything you want. You're a Dusted Gold, you Deny for discard, your Vions for starting plays. It's crazy. For the fusion spells, triple Mask Change, you know, Mac Daddy, give yourself a Dark Claw, and then your opponent is really, really struggling in this current format under a Dark Claw. Triple Fusion Destiny, the best fusion card for this deck. It's crazy, absolutely mad. So 1 card combo, you don't care about locking yourself into Dark Heroes, you send the materials that you need, you bring out a Phoenix Enforcer and you're able to play. And the best thing about having a Phoenix Enforcer is it does give you that ability to kind of jump around the Nibiru. Yes, Nibiru still wrecks this deck incredibly hard, but what this allows you to do is under Phoenix Enforcer, you can make the Nibiru token weaker, but then you also get to trigger the effect of Phoenix Enforcer, so it's going to come back. So at the very least, you're going to have a floating Phoenix Enforcer, which is really important. Then a card that not a lot of people were playing, and I saw one profile that put it in, and I was kind of like, I'd already considered it previously, so I was like, alright, let's see how this works for me, is Triple Prosperity. Now, the reason I've put this in here is just for an additional kind of consistency play. There's a lot of flex, well, not a lot of flex spots in the extra deck, but if you don't feel that the game is going to go into the grind game and you can set up your board strong enough, you can actually banish some of your duplicates. I'll show you the cards that I was banishing off of Prosperity when we get to the extra deck. But this worked out a treat because the idea is that you want to be activating this. It kind of baits out your opponent's Ash because if they're going to Ash it, you go, right, okay, I'm good to go. If they don't, unless they're incredibly, like, forth thinking and they're like, right, well, I'll let this go through. If they reveal a Fusion Destiny, I'm going to Ash the Fusion Destiny, then you're fine. But the idea was just to get to a Fusion Destiny as early as possible, activate that, set up your 1 card combo, and then your opponent is going to struggle to break that as is. I was main decking Cosmic Cyclones purely for the fact that I knew at my locals there was a couple of Scythe Lock plays, and I was like, the second someone activates the Scythe Lock, this deck pretty much loses. Like, it really, really struggles. And the one time that I did end up facing against the Scythe Lock, they held it. And I was able to activate Fusion Destiny first and then make my plays from there. But Cosmic Cyclone, it is what it is. You can take it out for hand traps if you want to. I kind of went with more of a board-breaking presence of going with double droplets alongside the Cosmic Cyclones. For the pure fact that I was like, right, okay, well, I'd rather try and break my opponent's board. Like, I'm not going to decide to go second. If I win the dice roll, I'm going first. But I need to have main deck outs to Imperial Order, I need to have main deck outs to Mystic Mine and the Scythe Lock, because that's just, those cards shut this deck down. This deck just goes, okay, cool, I guess I'm not fusing, I guess I'm not playing any of my spells, I'm not getting my consistency searches, all of that. So these all worked incredibly well for me. And then for the one-offs, got the 1 Monster Reborn. Arguably, you could cut this. Like, I didn't really get a use out of it. It's just one of the ones that if they do Nibiru you, you can activate Monster Reborn and then try and start the combo again. The best thing about the 1-card combo that we now have is you're able to build up an incredibly impressive board without conducting your normal summon. So, should they Nibiru you, you float off of the back of your Phoenix Enforcer. So if you were to go, right, okay, end phase, and they go end of main phase, and you've got a Phoenix Enforcer and a Plasma, they Nibiru that, you go, right, okay, cool, chain, Phoenix Enforcer pop the Plasma, clear those both off the board, they then nib with the nothing left to nib, so I'm not too sure if they actually can, and then even if they do, you then go back to it, you've got a Phoenix Enforcer that's going to float, and then you go normal summon, Stratos, get your Faris, and then you've still got place to make that route as well. Polymerization, Miracle Fusion, Dark Calling, and then of course the one A Hero Lives. Saw this once, and funnily enough, I never actually used it. So when I did see it in my opening hand, I decided not to use it. I think we were getting close to time. I was like, right, I'm not going to use this card. I'm going to play a different route, and it actually worked out incredibly well for me. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. So we are rocking double Dark Claw. This was one of the cards that I was banishing off of Prosperity, because I was like, if I resolve it once, that's it. It should shut my opponent down. The one Hero Blast, sometimes I was actually getting rid of this as well. I only summoned it once, but the idea is that if your opponent, like Imperms or Veilers, your Stratos, you chain Mask Change, tag it into this, you still get the search off of your Stratos, and then you've got a Spell Bouncer and an attack reduction off of your Blast. But this was one of the cards I was banishing off of Prosperity. The next card is a questionable card. Now, I know people play the other Dark, the Dark that requires two, I think it's like just 2 Dark Heroes. But I was playing Elemental Hero Acid because I wanted to combo off with the Absolute Zero. So again, it was a very specific kind of combo. But if you're not going to play, you definitely play Absolute. But if you're not going to play Acid, then I was playing Vision Hero Adoration, because I couldn't find the other one, which is like a Chatos or something like that, which basically just requires 2 Dark Heroes. So this one just requires 2 heroes. So I felt it was a little bit more generic. It gives it a bit of a buff, whereas the other one I think gives a bit of a debuff. So it really depends on you, but I was going with Acid over this for this particular tournament. Sunriser, when you make it, great. But if you lock yourself out of it, it's not the end of the world. Dystopia actually won me a game because I was able to burn and then it went into time. Such a good card as well, especially when you've got the Link 3 pointing to it, so your Dread Decimator, boosts its attack, and then you've got its effect to, not only have you burnt your opponent, but you've also got the effect to pop. Phoenix Enforcer, not much more needs to be said about that. That card's nuts right now. Dangerous. The reason you keep this in here is because if you've either got access to these already or you don't want to go to these because you need to get a bit more search, you actually send Mali and then a Dark Affair monster, which would be your Shadow Mist, to give you plays going forward. It's rare that you need to go that particular route because your other routes are better, but you need it in there as a safety net. Again, it was a card that was getting banished off of Prosperity. Bane is one of your OTK players. The best thing about this is when you've got Decimator on the board and is boosting his attack, not to mention Phoenix Enforcer is reducing your opponent's attack, using his effect to nuke the board is so much easier. It's crazy. Trinity for that one-shot, kill monsters, win the game kind of play. And then for your Link monsters, you've got the 1 Decimator alongside the 1 Wonder Driver and the double, which certainly deserves a foil print, Cross Crusader. So again, this was a card I was banishing off for Prosperity, and so was Driver, because obviously it was a light. So the idea is that I was trying to get Fusion Destiny, locking myself in the darks, and I could still play my board, and my board would be near impossible for my opponent to break. Still incredibly good. Cross Crusader, I only ever went through 1, but you want 2 as a backup. Definitely deserves a foil, whether it be an OTS Super or whether it be like a future Secret or Ultra print. Such a good card. If it's Link summoned, you get to bring back a Destiny hero from the grave. You can then tribute a Destiny hero to then add any hero from your deck to the hand. That's how you get to Plasma. That's how you can get to a Stratos. That's how you can get to a Dusted Gold. You can get to whatever you need at that particular moment in time. Decimator has piercing on himself, but then also any hero itself and any hero it points to gains 100 attack for each hero monster in the grave of a different name. So by the time you get to it, like I think I ended up getting like 8s to 10 monsters in the graveyard. He's given a nice boost, and that's where you put stuff like Dark Claw, you put Plasma, and they're all getting a nice buff. So that's it for the extra deck. I will quickly show you the side deck and then explain some of my choices for siding in. Now, I know a lot of people were main decking the Crossout, which is completely fine, but I feel like this deck, apart from Ash, and even with Ash, you can still play through them. Like, if you activate Fusion Destiny and they Ash it, you go, right, okay, not a worry, because then I can start going Stratos and make my plays from there. If they were to imperm the Stratos and they Ash the Fusion Destiny, you're kind of hoping that you've opened up a Faris and you still got more plays to make. So I kind of felt that I didn't need to main deck the Crossout. The only thing that I worried about for Crossout was Nibiru, and it was something that I was siding in. So I would side in free Crossout and Nibiru for the pure fact that it's like, right, okay, well, if I open up Nibiru, if my opponent's playing combo, I can clear it off. If I don't, at least if I open up a Crossout and my opponent tries to nib to end my entire board, I can play the Crossout. So this never came up, and I got really lucky. No one ever nibbed me, so I was in a good position. Double, triple Tactic Talents, alongside double Forbidden Chalice and the final Cosmic Cyclone. Just if there was so much back row I had to deal with, then Cyclone would let me boost it up. Forbidden Chalice was just to combo off with the droplet. So again, if I was worried about the Scythe lock, I've got Forbidden Chalice to help me on that. And then Talents was if I'm going second or if I'm going first and my opponent drops a hand traps. Like if I was up against a deck that was playing heavy amount of hand traps, I could Talents it and then kind of go from there. The other thing about cross out is you could, in theory, also cross out someone's Fusion Destiny if they opened it, which is really funny. The cards that came in more times than not was triple Artifact Lancia and triple Evenly Matched. There was one time, so I was facing the Sword Soul player, and I activated an effect and discarded the Lancia, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is fine. Cleared his monster off, and then he went, oh no, that was it, I activated Droplets and sent the Lancia during damage step, and it cleared his board off, and then he went, Evenly Matched. I was like, what? What? I could have kept the Lancia. I could have kept, or I should have kept the Lancia, and that wouldn't be happening. Luckily, the Evening Match didn't really end it for me. Like, I was able to still play through that. But yeah, these cards, such a great board breaker. Like, if you get rid of their negate, like, if they're negates on board and negates and destroys, you normal summon something, you try to put them under threat, they negate, destroy it, clear the board, evenly, clear out, off you go. Lance is so good right now, so it really slows down Sword Soul. It hurts the Dino matchup that I had as well. It pretty much won me the game off the back of that. And then stuff like Invocation was around, so a lot of Invocations, a lot of Eldritch as well, so I was able to go, okay, Lancia, and that stuff would then stop as well. And that's it. That's it for the main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck. Now to show you the 1-card combo. So please let heroes play with this a little bit longer. Probably ban Verte. I don't know if that makes it harder or easier for the Fusion Destiny to be abusable, but regardless. So the 1-card combo that gets you a Phoenix Enforcer plus a Plasma. You activate Fusion Destiny. You send from your deck to the grave your Mali and Denial. Broken pair. And then off the back of this, that's going to summon out your Phoenix Enforcer. You then use the effect of Mali in the graveyard to banish itself to summon another copy of itself from the deck. By doing so, you can then also activate Denier's effect, which summons itself back, puts the Mali to the top of the deck. You then link these two together and go into your Cross Crusader, remembering you are locked into special summoning Dark Heroes. Cross Crusader's effect will come back to bring back the Mali to destroy the Mali, and then search yourself out a Vion. Now, you don't need to go to Vion. You could ultimately go for a Stratos as well, I believe. So you should be absolutely fine. So we are going to go for a Vion. Off of the Vion, you just get a little bit more further board presence. Because what you do is Vion is going to send you from your deck to the graveyard once it is summoned, because you have not conducted your normal summon. You're going to be sending a Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist will then add you a Plasma. And then you can then use Vision Hero to banish any particular card from the graveyard to add a Poly. At least you've got follow-up plays should you need it. Then off the back of this, what you're going to do is you're going to banish the Mali from the grave, summon the Mali back, and then you're going to go, thank you, wham, bam, mam, boom, tribute, there is your Plasma. Now, obviously, if you were able to get into Faris, if you was able to get anything further, you could go that little bit further. So, I mean, in that example, as long as you had another hero in grave, you could go Stratos, Faris play, give you the Vion, and still the exact same thing. You just end up with like a Decimator, and you can also end up with more fusions. But this is the base minimum from 1 card. Plus you've replenished the 1 card you have in hand, so you're still going to have 4 more to play around with. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.